What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and today I'm coming at you with my Dana White's Contender Series Season 9 Week 8 breakdown. Now, I know this video is coming a little bit late. I've just been busting my ass on the UFC 320 card, so I'm sorry for the late upload, but we're getting right to it. So, also, tonight we're going to have the live stream for the Fight Companion at 8 p.m. EST, or 15 minutes before the fight start if you're in a different time zone. But come join us, come hang out. We're going to be watching the fights, talking picks, talking bets. We're going to be chilling all night long, so make sure you guys come swing by, come hang out with the boys. It's going to be a very fun time. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, first up, we got Rashid Vagabov versus Paulo de Silva. Now, this is like a generational warfare type of battle here. We got Rashid Vagabov, who trains directly with Khabib, and then we got Paulo de Silva, who trains directly under Charles Oliveira. So we got generational fights here going on. It's pretty crazy, pretty cool. But in this situation, I really like Vagabov in this spot. I just haven't really seen any holes from him. Earlier in his career, when I was watching some of his earlier tape, I saw that his striking wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't that good. It was a means to an end to get it to the ground. But in some of his more recent fights, his striking has looked a lot better, and I think that's going to help him in this fight if he has to, for whatever reason, keep it on the feet for an extended period of time where he can't get a takedown at some point. I think that's going to help him, and that makes me a little bit more confident in him in this fight, because going into this one, I was only really concerned about the striking, because Paulo de Silva, for his age, has pretty damn good striking. He's able to use his reach. He can use it through the kicks, through his strikes. As you can see, he's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage in this fight, which is pretty damn significant. I just don't necessarily know if it's going to matter. With Paulo de Silva at 23 years old, I just don't think he's quite ready for the spot yet. And it's not that necessarily that I don't think he could hang in the UFC against some lower level guys. It's just I think this matchup is probably one of the worst matchups he could have had. I mean, it's like literally he's just not as strong and as durable as a guy like Rashid Vagabov. I like that Rashid Vagabov at 27 years old, he's had that little bit of extra experience, and I know although their pro records don't suggest it, it's just your body cannot physically develop that much at a younger age. It's like you see guys that are older, they call it like that grown man strength. I think it really does hold up in a battle like this, or a fight like this, where it's really going to come down to brute strength. I really think that's going to help a ton, because I think both of these guys are high level grapplers. I just trust Rashid Vagabov. I think he's going to be too physically empowering here. He got that grown man strength, and I think it's going to make a difference here. Now, the reason why I say that is obviously you can't just equate strength to how a fighter is going to go, or how a fight is going to go. But you look at this guy, man. I'm telling you. You look at this guy. Look at his back. Vagabov's back. It literally reminds me of Islam's back, in the sense of this dude has back muscles on top of his back muscles, and his ground game is extremely dominant. When he gets guys to the ground, he just has his way, man. I mean, the dude is extremely dangerous. It's kind of crazy how strong this guy is on the ground and how much he's able to control his opponents. And that's the thing, too. He's going to get some high-level guys. He's beating some high-level competition, higher than a Paulo de Silva. Paulo de Silva is just beating guys in the regional scene. I can take you guys over here. Boom. So it's like not the highest level, obviously, but I mean, he's still beating guys like 23-6. You got 9-3, 5-3, 19-9, 5-1. So it's not the highest level, but it's not the worst at the same time. It gives me a little bit of credit of like, all right, this guy can hang when he needs to. And I think he's just going to get better and better and better, man. I mean, in terms of grappling, he's in probably the best training camp you could possibly be, with the best team, with the best guys. I think this is a setup spot for Vagabov. I think he really is he seems like a special talent, man. And I'm not just saying that because he's just with Khabib. I mean, he can seem like he can walk the walk and talk the talk. And a lot, like, comparing it to like last week, the grappler Magno from last week, like, I wasn't crazy on him. He looked really good, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't like extremely high up on him. But this guy Vagabov, he looks like he could be a real problem. And I think Paulo de Silva, I don't want to completely just write him off. I think maybe in a couple years he could do really well, because I think for 23 years old, he actually looks really good, and especially with him being in a very high level group around Charles Oliveira, I think he's going to do really well in the future. It's just, I don't know if he's there yet. And the last thing I'll say is, yes, Paulo de Silva, he has that 6-inch reach advantage, which is going to be huge in case of the striking. And I think with the striking, he is probably the better, more technical striker here. But the thing is that we've seen chin problems from him. When his most recent fight, when he fought, pull you guys over, I forget who it was. It was Paya, no, I'm not saying that right. What's his name? Hugo Paiva. Yeah, in his most recent fight, these guys in the second round, they both knock each other down. They both get knockdowns. And I'm just looking at that. I'm like, that was recent too. I mean, May of 2025. That doesn't give me a ton of confidence of like, all right, let's say Rashid Vagabov takes it to the ground and he starts landing some big ground and pound shots. I think he could knock out Silva. You know, maybe he doesn't even need to go for a submission because, you know, Vagabov is on a little submission run right now. As you can see, he's been going 1, 2, 3, 4 fights have been going to a submission. He's getting the sub there. So I do worry about him here because it's not even necessarily from a technical standpoint. You know, I mean, we saw, I showed you guys, Vagabov's fucking back, man. This dude is so physically empowering. I think with the age too, Paulo Silva is not physically as mature in terms of his muscles are not as mature and his size is not as mature. It looks like he could really put on a lot of muscle because even at flyweight, I mean, it seems like he could even cut down. He's going to like strawweight or such. Like, I mean, I wonder if that was a thing, he could honestly look like he could do it. So I think he needs some time to develop and mature in terms of his muscles, in terms of his body, kind of fill into his frame a little bit more. I think this is a setup for Vagabov to really look good. He's going to shine here. The only way I could see him looking bad is if he decides to point strike for 15 minutes, then it might not look like a minus 600 favorite. Or there's always the chance Paulo Silva could get a submission off of his back, although I just don't find it very likely. You know, he is lengthy, so that length could give him a couple tricky advantages on the ground, especially off of his back. But I don't know, man. I worry about Paulo Silva. I don't think this is the right spot for him. I think this is a terrible matchup for him, and I think Vagabov is probably going to have his way on the ground and get him out of there by a submission or a knockout. So I think it's one of the two. I doubt this goes to a decision. Now, next up, we got Kurtis Campbell versus Demba Seck. Kurtis Campbell, when I pulled this man's tape up, I was like, oh my God, what, like, all right, we're picking the other guy. I was like, all right, I just saw pictures. I'm talking before I saw the first fight or nothing. Looked him up. I was like, oh brother, oh brother. Watch this guy's tape. You know, I don't think he's necessarily like the next up and coming demon from England, like the next title contender. But I mean, at the same time, he looks pretty damn good. He's running through guys. The level of competition's not anything crazy. It's not great. I was literally looking through this one guy he fought. I had a picture in here, but I took it off. I'm trying to remember what his name was. This Daniel Matusa guy, this fight, it was actually pretty damn funny. He fights this guy, and this guy goes out, he comes out and he gets announced, and no one's cheering for him, and he's like looking around, and he's like pissed off that people aren't cheering for him. It was actually so damn funny, because he was like getting mad. I'm like, dude, why are you getting, like, he was mad. He was like throwing his hands out that people weren't cheering for him. It was kind of funny. Like, dude, focus on the fight. So, I mean, the level of competition, 7-5, I mean, it's not great, but I mean, he beat this Matthias Lima guy 5-0. So I mean, he has some notable wins. It's like stand out is like, all right, you're not just beating complete cans. I mean, this guy looked like garbage out there. But anyway, my point is like, yeah, all right, he's got some wins that are respectable. And the thing is, it's not even like this line. You'd look at it and say it's very wide. It's like, yeah, you look at him, he's like, yeah, he's undefeated. Like maybe that warrants his wide line. I just think it's Demba Seck, man. Demba Seck, I just was going through this guy's tape, and I'm like, this guy is just not good. And I feel bad, because I'm like, he's from Senegal, man. I mean, he's not going to have the level of grappling training that Kurtis Campbell is going to have in England at only 23 years old. I think he's going to be levels ahead of him on the ground. I think it's just not a good look. And that's the thing, too. When I first looked at this, I was like, all right, you know, Demba Seck, he has 4 wins by submission. Maybe his ground game is actually pretty damn solid. It's just against low-level guys, and they're all rear naked chokes. That's not a display of high-level grappling if you're getting a rear naked choke. In this terms of the sense, like in this example, it's really not. Like if I saw he was getting like a fucking Gomapada or something here, I'd be like, all right, you know, like, all right, I'll put a little respect on it. Or it's like I've seen he's like getting anaconda chokes on guys. I'm like, all right, you know, maybe I underestimated your ability. But you're just going against low-level regional guys in Africa. You're getting to their back and you're just getting a rear naked choke. That doesn't really show any high-level grappling. He's probably just brute strengthened his way through some of these, because there were some of them that were earlier on his record that I wasn't even able to see. They didn't even show it, what they had. The more recent ones they did, like you can see, rear naked choke round 1, rear naked choke round 1, rear naked choke. But then the earlier ones, they just say submission. I wasn't able to see this one either. So it's like, I'm not worried about the grappling threat. I think Kurtis Campbell is going to be levels ahead on the ground. I think Kurtis Campbell, he can go long too. We've seen him go to a decision twice. We know his cardio is fine. And you look at Demba Seck, if this does go long, he's 2-2 to a decision. Just because he's not that technically good. Yeah, he has some power to knock people out. This one fight, what fight was it from Demba that I was watching? That was really just, yeah, I was watching this Fred Kudzele fight. I'm watching this fight, and it's on YouTube. I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. This is recorded on a potato. This video was recorded on a potato. I mean, the best quality you could get on it was 240p. And this guy's fighting from Togo. I didn't even know where Togo was. It's an extremely small little country in Africa. If you know, you know. I guess I didn't. I was not familiar with Togo. And this guy's name is Fred, too. I'm like, who the hell is named Fred in Africa? Is that a common name? I've never heard of a Fred. That doesn't seem like a... sounds like a very, like, American white man name. Doesn't sound like a Togo man name. So, he goes... I mean, they go to war here. I mean, yeah, he definitely wins the fight here. But, I mean... Fred Kudzele, 3-4. And this is like tit for tat. They're going strike for strike. And that was this year in May. I'm like... Not a high-level display of mixed martial arts. And on the other hand, you got Kurtis Campbell. He's training out in England, undefeated. He looks to be pretty well-rounded. He can strike. He can grapple. He can go long. He can finish inside the distance. I think every single thing is going for him here, maybe except the 2-inch reach disadvantage he's at. Now, do I think it warrants a minus 500 line in a Dana White's Contender Series bout with a 23-year-old kid who's this green? No. But at the same time, there's no way in hell I could pick Demba Seck here. I just genuinely don't think he's a high-level fighter. And I feel bad. I'll be rooting for him here. You know, I want to see the underdog come through. But I just don't think he's here. I don't think he's UFC ready. I don't think he's UFC level. So I think this is not going to be his day. But you never know. Anything could happen. But give me Kurtis Campbell in this one. Decently confident. Next up, we got Christopher Alvidrez. Did I spell that wrong? Alvidrez? Whatever. Versus Eliezer Kubanza. Now, I'll tell you what. For the first part, who are we going to talk about first? We can talk about Christopher Alvidrez first. I kind of am going into this fight a little bit biased, because the more research I'm doing on this Christopher Alvidrez dude, this guy looks like a bit of a douchebag, I'm not going to lie. Kind of looks like a prick from the way he holds himself. He's like, before fights start, he's like emoting in front of his opponent before the fight starts. And he's just like kind of a cocky demeanor, and he's like knocks some dude out, and he's like stunting on him, like... I don't really get a good vibe from this guy. And you look at his tape, and it's like he has all these knockouts. And I'm like, all right, this dude must have some power. And I'm going and watching these fights. I'm breaking his fights down. I'm like, I don't even know how the hell he's knocking these guys out. I think he's just touching their chins in the right spot, because his striking is not bad. It's just, I think he's just hitting them in the right spot, just touching the chin in the right spot to put them out. Because I'm like, this guy doesn't have that crazy of power. It's not like he's some demon with knockout hands of steel that he's just running through people. It's just, you see these knockouts, and half of them too, it's like, I'm trying to think of his most recent one that I saw that I was just like kind of confused at, if anything. I think it wasn't Takashi Sato, he's ex-UFC guy. I think, who was it? It was a little bit while ago. I think it was William Rentz. William Rentz, when he knocks this guy out, first of all, when he knocks him out, this dude's hands are like by his waist. His hands are completely dropped. It's kind of like just inviting him in. So Alvidrez, he definitely has a bit of speed. You know, he can touch guys if they allow him to. No diddy. But it's like when he touches guys' chins, it's like it doesn't seem like there's a ton of power. It just seems like he's hitting them in the right spot. And against a guy like Kubanza, I just don't see that really holding up here. You know, I think he's not going to just go down. We haven't seen Kubanza get knocked out before. We haven't seen him really in any trouble. Kubanza is a beast, and I think it's not going to really work with this little pitter-patter hitting the guys in the right shot when they keep their hands down and they're completely defenseless. I just don't think that's going to work here, you know? And that's the thing with Alvidrez, too. It's like, you look at this guy's record, right? It's like the level of competition is not great. It's like, yeah, you look at Takashi Sato and you're like, all right, or Sato, this guy, like, was in the UFC. Like, he's had UFC fights. He obviously got cut because he was on a bad fucking run. But, not the easiest run. Not the easiest run. I can't really blame him for losing. But at the same time, this guy's been on a bad streak, not looking good. 35 years old, I believe, too. So it's like, that's the best level of competition he's really beat. It's like, you look at this other guys, he's beating 3-6, 2-2, 3-1, 0-0. Then he loses to a guy who's 1-0. I watched this fight. Dude, he's getting pieced up. When Christopher, he can't really get the power going. He was just a step behind in the striking the entire time. Now, this Mazzetti guy, he's actually pretty good. I think he's like, 6-0 now? Yeah, 6-0. I was looking him up. I'm like, all right, seeing like how his career has progressed. He's actually looked pretty good after that point. So I don't want to completely knock on him for this win or loss. Sorry. But at the same time, it's like the level of competition is not great. The best guy he's ever beat is Sato, who's really on a career downward like spiral out of control. So I can't really put a ton of weight behind that. I don't really hold a ton of value on that. And Kubanza, on the other hand, I like this guy, man. I think he's pretty special. I think he's actually pretty well-rounded. And you look at it, it's like when I saw it first, I was like, he's from the Congo. I'm like, well, shit, how well-rounded is this guy going to be, because it's not like it's somewhere in like Brazil where you can just train anywhere, there's lots of places, it's like tons of gyms. It's like the Congo, the training's got to be limited, especially in terms of like wrestling and grappling, maybe not the striking, maybe not the boxing department, but I was like, all right, how well-rounded is this guy? He's pretty damn well-rounded, I was looking through Kubanza's fights. He has good offensive wrestling. He can wrestle defensively pretty well. He has a good job of defending takedowns. I mean, his striking looks clean offensively and defensively. This guy looks good all around. He can hang. He has good cardio. He can last. He has good durability. I mean, the guy, he's pretty damn solid. For 27 years old, I like what I've seen from him. And I think he could actually, that's the thing too. I think both of these guys are ready for the UFC. I think they both could hang here. I don't have a ton of negative things to say about either guy here, more so with Alvidrez. The level of competition, the KO record in terms of his total wins is a bit, I don't want to say overinflated, but it makes it seem like he has more power than he does in my eyes, at least. Whereas Kubanza, the dude has power. The dude, when he hits guys, they go down. I mean, the dude has knockout power. It's for real. Like, he ain't fucking around. So I like Kubanza in this spot. I think he can win this fight. And that's the thing too. So I'll pull you guys over. Oh, nope. Yep. Oh, and here we are. Yep. In terms of the guys that he's beating, it's a higher level of competition too. This Zagid Gairadov, I literally put it in my notes. The commentators were talking about it. Gairadov, this guy was a world combat, or a combat sambo world champion he's fighting. And the cool thing about this other guy he fought, the Salamat Orazakanulov, I know I'm not saying that right. He was special forces in Kazakhstan. So pretty cool. I mean, it's like the BSD of Kazakhstan, which is pretty cool. But so it's like he's beating guys that are actually respectable. It's a higher level of competition. Took this guy 0, took this guy 0, took this guy 0. So it's like, I just like the level of competition there too. And just besides that too, if you're crushing cans, you're crushing cans, whatever. I just think Kubanza really seems to be pretty well-rounded, pretty talented. Everything about him I like more than Alvidrez. Maybe Alvidrez might have, I don't know, maybe a pure striking speed advantage, which could give him a bit of a benefit in this fight, but that's the thing about Kubanza that I like too, is this guy's really taking his career seriously. You can tell this guy's dialed in. You look at Christopher Alvidrez, I was going through this guy's Instagram. This dude's like a damn influencer. I swear, I'll pull this up for you guys. We get, go back to Christopher Alvidrez. I'm pulling this dude's up. I'm looking, he's hanging with like, whoa, Vicky. Wait, no, all right, wait, let me pull this up. I'll pull this up for you guys. All right, we're back. Sorry, I had to edit that out. I was trying to find this guy's damn Instagram. But anyway, we got it. Now, if you look at this guy's Instagram, he's trying to be like I don't want to say he's trying to be like just a straight up influencer, but it's like he's tapped in. He's doing all types of other shit. He's with Jamie Foxx. You look at, with John Jones. You look at, he's with, he's hanging with Mike Perry down here too. Training with Mike Perry. This guy's doing all types of crazy shit. Mike Perry there. I mean, you look at the guys. He was training with Whoa Vicky. If you guys know who this is, she was like some social media demon from like years ago. I don't know what the hell this guy, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's going on here. Doing a face off with Jamie Foxx. Kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know if this guy's trying to be a damn movie star or if he's trying to be a fighter. There's Jillian Robertson. Oh, I can't see from there, but you can see it from the right there. There she is. Same gym. It's the GOAT something. I'm blanking on their gym name, but it's like the GOAT Lab, or I'm blanking on it. I mean, you can see even Patty to Batty. The guy is training with some high-level people, but it's just a matter of like, I don't know what he's doing in his off time. I don't know how focused he is, where at least we know that Kubanza is the more locked-in, dialed fighter here. So I know that's like a very small detail I just wanted to point out, but I like Kubanza on the spot. I think he has a better career trajectory. Ooh, pull it back. And I like him in the spot. I think he gets the job done. I think the line might be a tad wide. I don't think Alvidrez, you can completely write him off. I think his striking is pretty quick, but I just don't think he's going to have the power to make a difference. I think if anyone's going to be the more powerful striker, it's going to be Kubanza. And I've seen from his takedown defense too, it's held up well enough to where I trust him. If Alvidrez tries to take him down, I don't think he's going to be able to. So yeah, I like Kubanza on the spot. And that's about it. Now, next up, we got Luis Jourdain versus Magno Diaz. This is the hardest fight of the night to pick for me. This is the one that I've gone back and forth on the most. Now, on one hand, you got Luis Jourdain. It was funny. I kind of assumed when I was looking this guy up, I was like, I assume he's from Canada. His last name's Jourdain. Are we brothers here? Yeah, and it's like they ended up being brothers. His brothers was Charles Jourdain, and I kind of figured that, but it's kind of funny. I didn't even like know it. It's like I watched his first tape when I was looking him up on YouTube, and I was like kind of waiting. Actually, I didn't look it up to see if they were brothers. I was like initially I was looking up on YouTube for his tape, and I watched his first fight, and after he wins, and his Charles Jourdain comes out, and I'm like, yeah, I was kind of waiting on that. But it's kind of funny. Louis Jourdain, his brother, now in the UFC or Dana White Contender Series. He's a striker who can hang on the ground, but he's not really where he wants to go. Now, the one thing I will say about this fight is that I have some concerns for Louis Jourdain. Now, if you look at him, his record and his career, he's taken some off time, and there are times in between these years, as you can see, within his last 5 MMA fights, one of the 5, to get my flow here, the 5th most recent one is 2018. Now, you could say, well, he's had a long run of inactivity. It's a mix of two different things. One, he went on this whole little boxing run that he did. And 2, he had some injuries. Now, go to Louis Jourdain. You can see. Now, recently, in terms of the injuries, he had to pull out of this fight against Tony Laramie. Look it up. Jourdain injury, I have no idea what he was injured with, but that's just something to point out. January of 2024, I don't know. That could have been a cut that didn't heal, or that could have been he got a finger amputated. I mean, I don't know. Obviously not. But you get my point. I don't know what the injury is. That's just something to point out. Not a huge deal. But in between his MMA fights, he went on this little run where he did boxing for 2021 all the way to basically the end of 2022 before he had his next MMA fight. So I don't know how you want to look at that. On one hand, you could look at that and say, okay, maybe his hands are getting sharper. He's still training. I mean, he's still staying in shape. On the other hand, though, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, all right, for that year or however long he's going on this little boxing run, is he really focusing on his grappling at all? Is he training on the mats? Is he rolling at all? Who knows? I don't know if he is, if he's just focusing on boxing. That does concern me. That's why I do say it does concern me, especially when you look at his record, two losses by submission. That's like, I have this concern here. I have this concern, especially because the guy he's facing is Magno Diaz from the Fighting Nerds, who specialize in grappling. And look at this guy's record. 4 out of his 6 wins come by submission. So I think the grappling is not going to be even here. Now, I think if Louis Jourdain can keep this on the feet and point fight from distance and win a striking match back and forth, he can definitely win this fight. It's definitely live. It's definitely there for him. As you can see from Magno Diaz, 2 wins by knockout. He's not looking to box guys. He's looking to get you on the ground and mess you up there. And I think that's his path here. Magno Diaz, that's his path to win here against a guy like Louis Jourdain is on the mats. We've seen him submitted before. And the thing about Louis Jourdain that I don't really love is that at times he gets kind of sloppy on the ground. Like, I'm watching him go when he's rolling with guys on the ground. If they take him down, they can take him down. Now, he has a decent get-up game, but it's just he makes mistakes in the grappling and he gets a little bit sloppy, and it looks like, I don't want to say low-level grappling, but it's like he has issues and he makes mistakes, and against a high-level grappler, he's going to get caught. He's been caught in the past, obviously, but he could easily get caught here again. And I just don't know how good of a grappler Magno Diaz is. Now, I'm trying to look through this guy's tape. I'm trying to find a ton of shit on him. It's hard. You can't really find much on this guy. So it's really like, it's kind of like the light heavyweights from like 2 weeks ago. It's like, you don't really know what you're getting into if you're picking Magno Diaz. That's why right now I gotta guess. I guess I gotta pick Louis Jourdain ever so slightly, just because I think if he can keep it on the feet, he should be the better boxer, and he can really have his way there. As long as his takedown defense can hang and stand tall, he should be good here. But if Magno Diaz is able to get it to the ground, if Diaz gets a submission win here, I will not be surprised at all. That's why I think this line should be a lot tighter than it is. Minus 200 for either guy is absolutely insane. And this line's widening. I just updated these odds. Louis Jourdain was a tighter favorite before this, so he wasn't minus 225 originally. It just keep going that way. I don't necessarily get it. I mean, the guy's training at Fighting Nerds. He's going to have his grappling on lock. And Louis Jourdain has made mistakes in the grappling before. I'm picking Louis Jourdain because I think if his takedown defense can just hang, if he can hold it up here, I don't think Magno Diaz is going to have the wrestling to really just lock him in and just hold him against the mats for 15 minutes, because he knows he's not going to get contract that way. I think Magno Diaz, his way to win here is by submission. But Louis Jourdain, if he's working him on the feet, he could get a knockout, he could get a decision win, and he could still probably get a contract. You look at the writings on the walls here. I mean, Louis Jourdain, brother of Charles Jourdain, Canadians. We got a UFC Canada card coming up. We just saw Cam Rouston get his contract and then fight in Perth. I can see Dana White and the UFC are just sitting there. They're just rubbing their hands like, oh, we got brothers. We can throw them in the Canadian card. as the Canadians, there's not a ton of Canadian UFC talent either, I might say. So they're just sitting there rubbing their hands like, yep, we got another fight. I feel like if they want either guy to win here, it's going to be Jourdain. If there's any BS, I'm not saying there will be. This is just conspiracy nonsense, la la land. If there's anything, it's going Lewis's way. So I'm not saying I'm basing my pick off of that. Obviously, if Lewis can keep it on the feet, which I think he could, he has a good shot of doing, then I think he'll win this fight. But if he gets taken down, if he gets submitted, I won't be surprised. So this is like a trap for me. I would not put any money on this. Do not put Jourdain in all your parlays. If anything, it's dog or pass in terms of the bets. But yeah, Jourdain, I guess I'll pick him to start. I might pick flip by the time we are live, so we'll talk about this one on the live stream too. So, all right, next up, we got Vitor Costa versus Damian Pinas. We're gonna call him Damian. All right, Damian. I broke him down first. When I was watching the tape, I watched him first, and the first fight that I saw of his was Jean Gregory. Now, immediately watching this fight, I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, Damian is an absolute fade. I mean, this has got to be a fade. Literally, I put this in my notes. I said, immediately off the bat, Damian was overextending with shots early on, trying to throw bombs, and Gregory caught him with an easy takedown. Gregory was dominating on the ground at first, going for an arm triangle choke. However, Damian's grappling defense looked pretty damn solid. And I look, and I'm like, all right, okay, his grappling looks all right at first. I'm not too worried about it. And I look, it was either this fight or a different fight too, where this like clicked for me, because I didn't even know Damian is the commentators are saying this guy's a white belt on the mats. I'm like, what the hell? This dude's a white belt and he's doing this well. I'm like, okay, maybe he's onto something, maybe he's a prodigy talent. And I'm like, all right, but if he's a white belt, he's going to want to keep it on the feet. And I'm watching this fight with Gregory. I literally put in my notes. I said, Damian was able to reverse Gregory. He had a Kimura at one point, and he slipped out for a second, but Gregory was able to land another takedown. And I said, eventually they get to the feet, but Damian's takedown defense looked awful. Somehow he reverses the position and gets on top, where he lands some big ground and pound shots. Eventually they stand up again, but Damian lands some nukes and knocks him out. And Gregory was death gassed at this point. So I'm like, all right, this guy's a white belt. But then, like, he was going for a Kimura at one point. Like, what is going on here? I'm like, is this guy actually a white belt? Were the commentators wrong? Is this guy genuinely a white belt? I'm like, well, he's 23 years old. He's from Aruba. Now he's training at, what gym is he at? The Nova gym with Jose Aldo. So it's like he's training with a good gym. So I'm like, maybe he's just improving at a rapid rate in the ground. Maybe. I mean, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. This guy's only 23 years old, so maybe his ground game's rapidly improving. But I'm like, okay, if this guy's a white belt, let's just assume he's a white belt. Why is he wanting to hang on the ground? Why the fuck is he going for a Kimura after getting on top? Why is he doing this? And I'm looking at the next fight that was like mind-blowing, where I'm like, okay, Damian's an automatic fade here. It was against Carlos Matos. So 11-3 at the time. I'm reading you guys my notes because this was this bad. I said, against Carlos Matos, the fight IQ was extremely questionable. He's apparently a white belt and he's trying to initiate the grappling. He lands a takedown, but then goes for a guillotine and allows Matos to get top control. What in the fuck is this man thinking? I mean, that's word for word what I had. And literally in this fight, I said, this is how this fight went too against Matos. After a nut tap, they had a little break, but they stand up, and yet Damian is the one initiating the clinch off of the break. Matos lands a takedown, gets to a dominant position, and almost submits him with what looked like a Darce. I couldn't tell, maybe an anaconda. And then eventually Damian is able to survive and get on top, but then he shoots another guillotine and ends up on bottom again. And I said, in round 2, Matos is going for a double leg takedown, and Damian is defending against the cage. Then Damian starts landing these shots where they were absolutely insane. I mean, this guy, like, he's defending a double leg takedown. Both his legs are spread. His opponent is wrapped around, and he's landing where, like, because his head is obviously, he's going for the double, like, his head's underneath, and he's, like, wrapping around this dude, and he's hitting him with his fists. He's hitting him with shots, like, no, you can't generate that much power with that. I'm like, and he knocks this guy out with these shots. I'm talking, you have no leg drive. You have no hips involved here. I mean, he's literally just using his arm and punching from the most weird, like, hook angle. He knocks this guy out cold. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this was like when I was doing my tape on Damian. At that exact moment, I'm thinking to myself, as long as Vitor Costa has a chin, we're picking Vitor Costa. I mean, he just needs to have a chin. Like, that's all he needs. If he has a chin, we're picking him. I go and watch Vitor Costa's tape. What fight was it? It was one of them, and it was Rafael Silva, who's 9-4. The first fight I watched, Vitor Costa said, I literally put it in my notes. I said, if I see, as I said, as long as I don't see this guy get his chin cracked, I'm going to put money on Vitor. And sure enough, right away, he gets his chin cracked. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Vitor gets his chin cracked by this Rafael Silva dude. I'm like, all right, so this is like a coin toss of a fight. You got this guy, Damian, who's a white belt on the mats, but has crazy knockout power. And now he's going against a guy like Vitor Costa, who's another Fighting Nerds guy, I believe, who's going to be the better grappler, who's going to be much levels ahead of him in terms of the submission abilities, but he has chin problems. This is the most 1-800. This is a coin toss of a fight, and I love it. I'm here for it. This is going to be an absolute banger. I'm saying Damian's going to knock this guy out, or Costa's going to submit him. I wish I was literally looking at the betting lines. I was looking for the alternative double chance where you can literally do that, but they only had it on UFC. They didn't have it for the Dana White Contender Series. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, you could take a coin toss on this. You know, I think Damian is going to knock him out if I had to pick. He was like, I was able to see him, at least as a white belt, go through different positions on the ground. And although his fight IQ is absolutely insane, at least, you know, maybe his coaches can tell him what to do. And if he listens, all right, maybe he just doesn't do that shit again. Maybe we can fix that hole in his game. But he has this knockout power that I'm like, I saw him knock a guy out with no leg drive, no hit. I mean, like literally all arm strength when this guy was shooting a double. I'm not picking against that, especially against a guy like Costa that we've seen get knocked out before. Damian, Mr. Pinas, you're our man. I think he's going to get it done. I think it's going to be a knockout. This is like a coin toss, though. You know, I'm not really overthinking this one. I think it goes one of the two ways. I think this is not going the distance, I'll tell you that. But Damian has good cardio. I mean, this guy can last, so I think he's going to knock him out. That's the pick. But for the people who think Costa's going to get a submission, totally valid in that too. But anyway, I think the harder fight to pick, honestly, is the Jourdain versus DS. I think this one's a bit more tricky, but this one, it's kind of like a coin toss. I'm leaning Damian. I get why people are leaning Costa, but I think Damian's going to knock him out. But anyway, guys, that does it for the video. I got to get this up. Sorry for the late upload, too. I have it as Tuesday the 30th. That's today, the same day this video is coming out. So 8 p.m. EST time, and we're going to be live streaming the entire Fight Companion. Come hang out with the boys. It's going to be a good-ass time. Can't wait to see you guys there. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. It's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA. I'm going to get this video out for you guys, and I'll see y'all tonight. So thank you guys once again for watching. And yeah, I'll get this video up, I'll get it edited, and I'll see you guys soon. So it's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and I'm out. So peace.